Now, you've been on this journey for a few weeks, so we can really get into the quality of the food now for the reason that it's going to make you feel better on the inside. So, I know that you're not all doing this just based on aesthetics and what you look like. We understand that to do that, you need a calorie deficit, but there is also the element of feeling good on the inside too. Just to be clear, food quality has no impact on whether you will or will not lose weight based on the pure science of the calorie deficit, but it's definitely kinder to your body to eat more nutrient dense food. And you might not be ready for this just yet, and that's okay as well. You need to really focus on calories and protein in order to kickstart you on your goals, and then you can come on to food quality. I often go on about nutrient dense foods. So this just means that it contains more live nutrients and they haven't been killed off or shriveled up in a cooking or frying process. And single ingredient food is another thing that I like to talk about, which just means that you can actually identify that food. And a good way to do that as well is by sell by dates. So the shorter the life, usually the better quality of the food. And I say usually because obviously there are exceptions. So let's take, for example, processed chicken slices versus fresh chicken fillets, or grapes versus raisins. Obviously, raisins have a very long sell by date, grapes only have a few days. The same with potatoes versus crisps or chips. So that's what I mean by having a look at the sell by dates. On the whole, you can use that as a good judgment. The more ingredients, usually the more processed. And again, this is not a hard and fast rule for everything, but it is the most common. For example, if you're making your own food and it happens to have a lot of ingredients, that's also okay as well. Let's say you're making a tomato sauce that had 10 different spices, loads of different vegetables, and it had 20 ingredients altogether. That's absolutely fine, and it still is under the bracket of your nutrient dense single ingredient foods. If the ingredients are in a jar and it's words that you've not even heard of or can't recognize, like chemicals, e-numbers, and random substances, these are all the extras that are contributing to make it no longer a single ingredient food and compromise the quality of that food. So if you try and increase the food quality, even if it's just for a couple of meals a week, it will really make you feel better from the inside, make you feel less sluggish, less tired, and it will stretch out your calories because the food is less calorific. And again, from an internal perspective, again, I'm saying from the inside out, not talking about aesthetics here, I would really recommend you not to fry your food in oil that isn't cold pressed. Cold pressed oils are oils, for example, nut oils, so coconut oils, avocado oils, you can get walnut oils, sesame oils, they all say cold pressed on them. This just means that it doesn't get hydrogenated, so extra hydrogen pumped into it during the cooking process. And again, from just an internal perspective, for your internal bodily systems, it's less likely to clog up those systems, clog up your veins, clog up your arteries, etc. So when we're using cold pressed oils, they don't change state and they remain as they are cold pressed. If you're drizzling your oil onto your food, then that's absolutely fine. But if you're cooking it at high temperatures or frying, then only use cold pressed oils for this purpose. Don't use sunflower oils or olive oils or vegetable oils. And this is really just to reiterate as well, you may not be ready for this just yet in terms of looking into the food quality, and that's absolutely cool. You just carry on doing what you're doing and come to this when you're ready. So for now, just focus on your calories, focus on your protein, getting those targets right, and carry on with your goals. But for those of you who are ready to look at different options that make you feel better, try and apply that rule that I was talking about before. Try and look at the sell by dates, how fresh is this food, and that can be something that can really help you take that first step in getting better quality food into your diet and into your food regime.